Listen closely. What I'm about to tell you might just save you from walking straight into an energetic minefield disguised as peace. Not everything that feels quiet is safe, you understand? Sometimes the deepest shifts, the most profound tests, happen when the universe seems to be holding its breath. And right now, this week, beneath a surface that looks almost too calm, something powerful, something ancient, is brewing. Forget the loud bangs and cosmic fireworks for a moment. This week, the real action is happening in the whispers, in the unseen currents. The moon, your emotional core, your psychic mirror, is drifting through this incredibly potent, almost invisible corridor of cosmic energy. It's picking up signals, intense frequencies from Mercury, from Venus, from Saturn, planets that govern your mind, your heart, your karma, and it's beaming them straight into you. Tell me in the comments right now. Just type yes or no. Have you felt it already? That weird heaviness? That sense that something is off, even when everything looks fine? Maybe your dreams have been wild, speaking in riddles you can't quite crack, or just this subtle, persistent pull towards something you can't even name? Let me know below, yes or no, because you're not imagining it. But here's the critical part, the warning you need to hear. This isn't just some gentle cosmic alignment. No, this is a trap, a spiritual trap, laid not with chaos, but with silence. It's designed to test your awareness, to see if you can sense the shifting currents when there's no obvious storm raging. It's a whisper from the universe asking, are you paying attention or are you asleep at the wheel? This quiet, it's deceptive. Think about it. No major eclipses screaming for attention. No dramatic full moon lighting up the sky, demanding you feel things. It looks peaceful. But beneath that glassy surface, a silent storm is gathering unbelievable force. It's a pressure cooker building steam, and you can feel that tension in your bones, in your spirit, even if your logical mind tries to dismiss it. The moon right now, it's not just reflecting light, it's become a cosmic amplifier cranked way too high. It's taking all the raw, unsettled energies, the communication static from Mercury trying to go direct, the deep heart questions stirred by Venus, the heavy karmic weight of Saturn, and it's magnifying them, broadcasting them right into your emotional field. It's like the universe put a loudspeaker to your soul, and maybe you're feeling the effects already, that mental fog that descends for no reason, that sudden spike of anxiety that hits you out of the blue, or maybe it's a physical thing, a restlessness you can't shake, a weird weight on your chest you just can't explain. Trust me, this is not random. This is the frequency of cosmic compression. It's the universe squeezing all the unresolved stuff, the emotions you've buried, the thoughts you haven't dared to think, the truths you haven't spoken, right to the surface. There's no big flashy transit you can point to on a chart and say, aha, that's it. And that's exactly why it's so potent, so tricky. This week operates in the shadows. It doesn't arrive with a sledgehammer to break you down. Oh no, it works with laser precision. It finds the places where you're already cracked, the tiny hairline fractures in your spiritual armor you thought nobody could see. It reveals where your energy, your life force, is still leaking out. You might find yourself getting triggered by the smallest things, a casual comment that feels like a dagger, an unexpected delay that throws your whole day off, even just a silence from someone that feels deafening. Pay attention. These are not accidents. They are signals, sacred, intentional breadcrumbs leading you back to the source of the leak. If you dare to follow that emotional flare-up, trace it back to its root, you'll land right on the hidden pressure point. the wound, the belief you've been desperately avoiding. This isn't chaos. Remember, it's divine precision. It's a deep, subtle, emotional alchemy happening inside you, designed to wake something up. The moon is absorbing it all. Every tension, every ripple, every unspoken word, influenced by Mercury's fog, Venus's longing, Saturn's silent judgment, and mirroring it straight into your soul. You're not just feeling your own stuff. You're plugged into the collective hum of transformation, whether you realize it or not. This is the quiet before the inner quake, a sacred pause demanding reflection, forcing revelation, maybe even calling for a reckoning. It's not loud, but damn, it's undeniable if you're tuned in. Now, let's talk specifics, because the timeline matters. Mercury technically goes direct around April 7th. You'd expect the fog to lift instantly, right? Like flipping a switch? Wrong. Don't expect sudden clarity, a burst of progress, or that feeling of forward motion just yet. Instead, there's this eerie stillness, this weird psychic static. It's like waking up from a really intense dream only to realize you're still kind of dreaming. The wires are still crossed. Why? Because the moon, our emotional sponge, is still absolutely soaked in the shadows and echoes of Mercury's retrograde journey. Even though Mercury is starting to move forward, the emotional field around you, inside you, is still tangled up with threads from the past. Unresolved conversations, unspoken feelings, lingering confusion, it's all still wrapped around your thoughts, your words, even your heart. You might feel completely pulled in two directions this week. Part of you is screaming, go, speak, act, move forward. But another, deeper part is hitting the brakes, whispering, wait, something isn't quite settled yet. This inner split? It's not you being indecisive, it's spiritual calibration. Your soul is taking a moment, recalibrating its internal compass, figuring out what's genuinely true now, what's ready to move, and what still needs healing before you leap. Old stuff might resurface. Conversations you thought were dead and buried might echo in your mind. People or situations you believed were firmly in the past might suddenly pop up. This isn't necessarily about reopening old wounds. View it more like the universe delivering a final message, a crucial piece of information, a whisper that didn't quite reach you the first time around because you weren't ready to hear it. And the dreams, pay attention to your dreams. They might become incredibly vivid, symbolic, almost like coded transmissions from your subconscious. Your deeper self is stepping forward, trying to complete the processing, the understanding that your conscious mind couldn't handle during the retrograde chaos. Don't brush these off as just random weirdness. They could be carrying soul blueprints, missed instructions, urgent messages demanding your attention. Then, right in the middle of this haze, expect moments of sudden, piercing clarity, a flash of intuition, a gut feeling so strong it bypasses logic entirely, a deep knowing that arrives without proof or explanation. It's not a thought you construct. It's a recognition, like your soul suddenly remembers a truth your mind is only just starting to grasp. This isn't just Mercury restarting its engine. It's the moon acting as the echo chamber for your innermost truth, amplifying everything you've tried to ignore. The clarity you crave won't arrive like a thunderclap. It'll be a whisper in the dark. Be still enough to hear it. Then comes April 8th. The moon makes contact with Regulus, the royal star, the heart of the lion. Ancient stargazers called it the marker of kings. This is not your average lunar alignment. This stirs something primal, something regal, and frankly, something potentially dangerous. When the moon touches Regulus, the ego awakens, not the flimsy, superficial mask of pride, but that deep, instinctual hunger to be seen, to be recognized, to stand tall and declare your existence, your worth. For some, this will feel like rocket fuel, a sudden surge of empowerment, a fierce desire to speak their truth, to take up space, to reclaim sovereignty over their life. They'll walk taller, speak louder, refuse to shrink. But, and this is a huge but, this light, if it's not balanced, if it's not grounded in real humility and service, casts a very long, dark shadow. What starts as healthy self-worth can easily slide into arrogance. Confidence can twist into a need for control. The desire to lead can curdle into an urge to dominate others. Watch for this energy in yourself and in others. And here's something crucial for those of you who are genuinely doing the work, whose light is steady, whose energy is tuned to a higher frequency. You might suddenly find yourselves in the crosshairs, not because you did anything wrong, but because your very presence, your radiance, acts like a mirror, reflecting back the unspoken insecurities, the hidden shadows in those around you. And frankly, a lot of people are not ready to face that reflection. You might feel tested. You might notice weird shifts in dynamics, sudden coldness from people who were warm, unexpected competition where there was support, a feeling of being too much for certain spaces or people. Try not to take it personally. It's energetic. Your light is stirring the collective shadow, and sometimes the shadow bites back before it integrates. Stay grounded. Stay in your integrity. Then, brace yourself for April 10th. Mercury, just finding its footing out of retrograde, slams right into Saturn, the great teacher, the lord of karma, the cosmic gatekeeper. This is not a light-hearted chat. This is a reckoning, especially around your words. Right now, understand this. Your words carry immense weight. They are magnetic. They are binding. Every text you send, every conversation you have, every promise you make, every secret you whisper, it becomes a thread woven directly into your karmic tapestry. This is not the time for careless speech, for gossip, for saying things you don't mean just to fill the silence. This is a sacred pause where the universe itself leans in and asks, do you really mean that? Are you prepared to own the consequences of that vibration you're about to release? Long-held truths might push their way to the surface, demanding to be spoken. Thoughts you've suppressed might feel like they're choking you. But with Saturn's stern gaze watching, it's not just about speaking. It's about speaking with absolute integrity and being ready for the ripples your words create. You might find a simple conversation echoes for days. Something someone says might linger like a spell, affecting your energy long after. You might dream of dialogues that never actually happened, or feel the heavy, energetic residue of words you didn't say but knew you needed to. This is a karmic audit, a cosmic courtroom where every sentence is recorded, not on paper, but in the vibration of your soul. Speak with intention. Listen with presence. Because right now, language isn't just communication. It's potent magic. It's transformation. During this specific alignment, the moon becomes more than just an amplifier. It becomes a vessel, storing emotional frequencies like sacred data. Every glance exchanged, every word left unsaid, every subtle shift in tone, it records the energy behind it all. You might leave a conversation thinking it was fine, totally normal, only to feel the weight of it hours later. Something lingers, loops in your mind, echoes in your chest, maybe even haunts your dreams. That's the moon, having captured the raw emotional truth beneath the surface pleasantries, reflecting it back to you. This demands sacred stillness. Not everything needs to be spoken aloud right now. Some truths are best processed internally, maybe written down, explored in quiet contemplation. Clarity might only arrive when the mouth rests and the soul gets a chance to speak. Before you react, before you explain, before you defend, pause, breathe. Because Saturn is listening. The keeper of karmic contracts is watching. And Saturn is asking a chillingly simple question. Do you really want to cast that spell? Because that's what words are under this influence. Spells. Once spoken, they unleash energy that cannot be easily undone. Once sent, they echo far beyond what you consciously intend. Choose wisely. Then, around April 12th, Venus goes direct. And this is where illusions around love, value, and connection might just start to shatter. This isn't the soft, fuzzy, rose-tinted filter version of Venus. Oh no. This is raw, radiant, sometimes brutal truth. Venus direct, especially after this intense period, strips away the filters and hands you a mirror, a very clear, unforgiving mirror. And it asks, what have you been pretending not to see? Suddenly, truths you've buried under politeness, duty, or fear might rise like tidal waves. Memories you thought were processed might emerge without warning. Dreams might return with familiar faces, carrying unresolved emotional charges, feelings you've skillfully hidden. From others, maybe even from yourself, could surface with startling intensity. You might find yourself crying without knowing exactly why. You might remember something painful you thought was healed, not necessarily to reopen the wound, but maybe, just maybe, to finally cleanse it fully. There could be confessions, yours or someone else's. Something held in shadow for a long, long time might demand to be brought into the light, acknowledged, dealt with. This is a sacred reckoning in the realm of the heart, but it's bigger than just romance. Venus is asking about your value. Do you finally see your own worth clearly now? Are you still chasing connection, approval, or love from sources that consistently fail to see you, to value you? Are you willing, finally, to release the beautiful lies, the comfortable illusions you once called connection? These intense emotions, if they rise, aren't here to destroy you. They are here to reveal you, to deliver you back to yourself, stripped of fantasy, soaked in truth. Let them rise. Let them move through you without judgment. They are a compass pointing towards what your soul has always known, but perhaps only now are you finally ready to truly feel it and act on it. You might feel an almost magnetic pull towards communication, maybe reaching for your phone to contact someone, a name popping into your head insistently, a message forming in your heart, or perhaps one arrives to you, sudden, unexpected, but feeling strangely timed. This isn't random. It's Venus, now direct, moving through the quiet corridors of your soul, asking questions that echo louder than words. Do you still truly value what no longer aligns with your spirit? What are you holding on to simply because it's familiar, even if it drains you or keeps you small? As all this pressure, Mercury, Saturn, Venus, the echoes in the moon, gently builds, the moon herself begins her sacred unveiling. She doesn't roar, she whispers, And in those whispers, she reveals precisely where your light still flickers dimly behind old wounds, old patterns. It might be through those tiny moments again, that passive comment that lands wrong, the delayed reply that feels like rejection, someone forgetting to acknowledge your contribution, or maybe saying just a little too much, revealing an insecurity. Moments you'd usually brush off, but now they sting. Why? Because they've touched the bruise beneath the surface. The tender spot you'd forgotten about, or perhaps never truly acknowledged, was still there. These are not random overreactions. They are sacred signals. Spiritual GPS points guiding you to the exact place where your energy is still leaking, where healing is still waiting for your conscious attention. Don't dismiss what bothers you this week, no matter how small it seems. Trace it. Follow that feeling down the spiral to its root, because hidden there is the insight, the freedom, the peace of yourself your soul has been desperately trying to show you. Days like April 11th and 12th might seem outwardly uneventful. No cosmic thunder, no celestial spectacle lighting up the news. But the silence is alive. The air itself feels like it's holding its breath. These are threshold days, spiritually charged to the max, but externally still. The kind of days where time might feel like it's bending, speeding up one moment, crawling the next. Conversations might feel slightly off-key. Your body might react to energy shifts you can't logically explain. This is pressure without volume. A spiritual crescendo building in soft tones. It's a final build-up, preparing you for what comes next. Not with noise, but with absolute precision. Pay attention to the subtle signs, the synchronicities, the gut feelings. Because in the smallest, quietest moments, the soul often speaks the loudest. Time might start doing strange things, moments stretching into eternities, then hours collapsing into seconds. You might lose track of time completely, or feel wrapped in a strange sense of déjà vu, like you're moving through a dream. These distortions aren't your mind playing tricks. They are signs the veil is thinning. Reality is folding inward, preparing for a shift. The moon, having absorbed every emotional ripple, every karmic echo, every heart truth from the past days, now begins to release that stored energy. But not with explosions, with gentle nudges, strange encounters, fleeting thoughts that feel far too precise to be random. A sentence you overhear that seems meant just for you. A number pattern repeating. A song on the radio hitting you right in the soul. This is how the cosmos speaks when it doesn't want to shout. Through symbols, through the soft choreography of coincidence, through whispers on the wind. This entire week, this whole period we've walked through, has been preparing you. Not for chaos, necessarily, but for clarity. But it's not the kind that arrives in one blinding flash of lightning. It's the kind that builds, whisper by whisper, choice by choice, breath by conscious breath. You weren't being asked to fix yourself overnight. You were being asked to recognize where the pressure points are, where the old structures are cracking, where the old stories simply don't fit anymore. The silence you've been feeling. It wasn't emptiness. It was potential. It was the quiet hum of stored energy, coiled potential that the moon was gathering, wrapping tightly into your emotional field, holding it in sacred stillness until the next phase arrives. And when that next shift comes, because believe me, it will come, it won't feel sudden or out of the blue to those who have been listening, to those who heard the whispers beneath the silence, to those who felt the tension in the apparent calm. Because the universe rarely announces its most profound moments with trumpets and fanfare. It prepares them meticulously, subtly. And only those who are still enough, aware enough, will recognize that preparation for what it truly is, a sacred invitation to awaken. Deeper, fuller, truer. Let the silence guide you this week. Let the pressure reveal you. Let the moon speak to you in that quiet language only your soul truly understands. This was and is a time of subtle yet monumental transformation, the kind that changes absolutely everything without making a sound. Wow, that was intense, right? But necessary. If this resonated, if you felt that energy shift just listening, let me know in the comments what stood out most to you. Your experiences matter. They help us all navigate these currents. If you appreciate this kind of deep dive, this energetic forecast, please consider clicking that subscribe button and turning on notifications. Your support genuinely helps keep this channel going, allowing me to bring these messages forward. Share this with anyone you feel needs to hear this warning, this guidance. Until next time, stay aware, trust your intuition, and navigate these powerful currents with intention. Take care, and I'll see you in the next transmission.